This week on KCBY, we hear how a former student in need is giving back to her community.
We learn the importance of Braille to the visually impaired.
And we see how an athlete and coach made their sport more inclusive.
Hi, and welcome to our 15th KCBY show for the 2025 to 2026 school year. I'm Michaela Arnold.
And I'm Emmy Driokas. KCBY starts now. The state of Texas leads the nation in hunger, with 1.3 million people in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex experiencing hunger. A large number of these families rely on SNAP benefits and local food pantries to tackle the table and feed their children.
One CHS food pantry officer knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of the line. Sophia brings us the story.
At Coppell High School, there are over 70 student-run clubs and organizations, but one stands out more than the rest. The Food Pantry, a club meant to provide food for Coppell families and students in need. Director of Community Outreach, Mariah Calvillo, knows this struggle firsthand.
In middle school, what they had us do was they'll give us just plastic clear bags full of food for Christmas breaks and anything, just in front of all the students. So it wasn't a sense of privacy. Everyone knew what you're doing. But what we do in Food Pantry is we deliver straight to the homes. Us as officers, we don't even know who the families are. So we make the boxes and then we deliver it to homes so they have the privacy that they need. They don't have to feel, oh, I have to get food from school. They feel better about themselves.
Annabella Perk, aspiring to be a licensed chef. She's serious about making sure that everyone gets fed. This year, she is the Food Pantry president.
The first thing that inspired me in Food Pantry was my friend Mariah. She was a friend of mine as well as a member that was in Culinary Club, another club that I happened to run. And she was talking about when she was younger, she used to get food donations from the Food Pantry in Coppell. And that made me really interested in what the high school offers.
Mariah did a lot more than inspire her. They now work side by side, making a lasting impact.
So me and my friends, on the days off that we had, we reorganized and revamped the Food Pantry. We organized things, we added labels, we took out things that were expired, and we made it something new.
Through the pantry, Mariah and Annabella have grown to become not only co-leaders, but friends that can depend on each other.
AV told me about Food Pantry because I was in Culinary Club, and I kind of connected when we were talking about my childhood and how we focus on food insecurity in Food Pantry. And so then she introduced me to the idea of joining.
The greatest thing that I see happening, and I hope will continue, is the student involvement. The students have really changed the way things run and made it better.
Mr. Ray Poole has been sponsoring the Food Pantry for 6 years. He's seen the change these students have brought to the organization.
It's the way the community, and especially the students, it's that service heart that makes this place so special, that they look up and they say, how can I help? And they find a way and they provide help for a need that we have.
Everything was a full circle for me. Me dealing with food insecurity, having to get food from the Food Pantry, to now we're helping fight food insecurity instead of me facing it.
For KCBY, I'm Sophia Vittorio.
As January sets in, we take time to celebrate National Braille Literacy Month.
Yes, Emmy. It is estimated over 6 million people use Braille worldwide, according to the Musée Louis Braille.
Kavya takes us through how this innovation brings opportunities to people across the world, including here at CHS.
To some people, this might look like just a bunch of dots, but for thousands of students, this is their doorway to reading, writing, and independence. With January being National Braille Literacy Month, we're taking a closer look at what visual impairment really means, why Braille still matters, and the impact it has on everyday life.
Stacy Chambers, a teacher for the visually impaired in Coppell ISD, strongly advocates for Braille literacy, a key to independence for her students.
One of the biggest barriers that I see with accessing Braille is people thinking that listening is the same as reading Braille. I just encourage people to think about what that would feel like for them. Our students have a right to access the materials that they need at the same time as their peers. And our job as educators is to help provide that access.
Sullivan Kessler, a junior at CHS, opens up about his experiences with his vision and learning to read Braille.
I describe my vision, so out of my left eye, I can see completely nothing. And then out of my right eye, I kind of like describing it like looking through a straw. There's kind of just a little hole that I look out of.
Knowing Braille has changed his day-to-day confidence, and just he could follow along with other things as people are reading. He doesn't always need to have somebody by his side.
On my iPad, I have VoiceOver, which is a screen reader that I use to kind of read anything on the iPad. And I also use a JAWS computer.
It's really important. We just celebrate that opportunity to have access to Braille and its importance.
For KCBY, I'm Kavya Narayanan.
For more information, visit museelouisbraille.com.
From 1941 to 1945, the Nazi regime systematically murdered millions of Jewish and ethnic minorities in what became known as the Holocaust. As we approach Holocaust Remembrance Day on January 27th, the world recognizes and honors victims and families that were affected by this tragedy. Yelani talks us through how Capel participates in this event.
Holocaust Remembrance Day is observed on January 27th every year, honoring the liberation of the Nazi concentration camp Auschwitz. Mr. Blake and Ms. Roseberry share their thoughts on lessons to be learned from the event.
It is a reminder about the importance of human rights, of standing up for others, to not be a bystander when you see something that's wrong.
It's about respecting each other and preventing genocide of any group from happening again.
Find your voice to speak out, because no one should be singled out for their beliefs or who they are. Everyone should be having the dignity to be treated, equally and fairly.
The Holocaust touched so many different lives and cultural groups. We have a duty to remember that story, and we do tell that story, but we don't let it end there, because if we let it end there, then they will have died in vain. So. Yeah.
For KCBY, I'm Yalini Muthakumar.
For donations to the Dallas Holocaust and Human Rights Museum, visit dhhrm.org/donate.
Now to the sidekick for the latest from Coppell Student Media.
Thanks, Emmy. This week on Coppell Student Media, learn about how the Silver Dart Line is shaping Coppell residents' lives in Zara Sheikh's story, read Samara George's column on why we should rejuvenate libraries, and get to know senior Cynthia Zhao and her business Nails by Sin through Akshara Kalawaji's story. Now, back to the studio.
Thanks, Rachel. Now to Maya with the buzz.
Her second year of hosting the Golden Globes, comedian and actress Nikki Glaser did not disappoint. Using sharp roast-style humor, targeting media like CBS News, and actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Timothée Chalamet, and more. Chalamet won Best Actor in the Musical or Comedy category for his role in Marty Supreme, which came out on Christmas Day and has been the talk of the town since. On the topic of groundbreaking media, the hit show Stranger Things, with 5 seasons, premiered their last episode in theaters on December 31st. The season finale made over $25 million. However, despite the box office success, fans felt the ambiguous ending was disappointing. To cope with the show's end, many fans raced to social media to conspire about a secret 9th episode allegedly premiering on Netflix January 7th.
I think I just cracked the entire case about Conformitygate.
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 Conformitygate was a media phenomenon that bridged fans together after the show's ending. For KCBY, I'm Maya On.
Thank you, Maya. Now to sports for all things Coppell Athletics.
Hi, I'm Aaron Montez, and this is CSPN. The Cowboys soccer team has racked up 6 wins since its start, climbing to the top 5 in state rankings. Argus takes us inside the Cowboys' run and what's fueling their early success.
Following a historic state title for the girls last season, all eyes are on the boys to keep the championship momentum alive. It's been a season of grit. Head coach Stephen Morris has navigated every high and low to get this squad battle ready.
The team's progression up to this point has been pretty good. We're kind of in the same spot we were last year, and obviously had a pretty good season last year. We're 5-1. Won our 3 tournament games here that we hosted, and then 2 in Austin, and then lost 1 on the last day. It's a little bit tough conditions, losing some guys, some injuries, some things like that. So, we're in the thick of it, ready to roll. But I see a lot of the biggest growth happens right here in the beginning, December, January. The challenges I see in the near future is just going to be staying healthy. We, for whatever reason this year, have a little bit of an injury bug, and guys are picking up nicks and dings, and we just don't have time to let them progress and get healed. The strongest factor behind the team's success this year is they have seen it. We do have a lot of returners from last year's team, so they've seen it in action. They know what it takes. They know what it feels like to be in those situations and those moments deep into game and just to keep fighting. And seeing them pulling the underclassmen that are now having to step up and get involved in that culture a little bit, and seeing those guys do it.
The real test begins now as the Cowboys charge into district play. For KCBY, I'm Arius Rout.
Watch the Coppell Cowboys tonight as they face the Lake Highlands Wildcats at home. When wrestlers step onto the mat, their uniform should be the last thing on their mind. However, this isn't always the reality for Muslim wrestlers, for whom modesty is a core faith principle. Anushka brings us the story.
At first, it may seem that the most important parts of wrestling are the techniques or the strength involved. But for Muslim girls in wrestling, it's hard to focus on these aspects when they aren't comfortable in skin-tight uniforms. That all changed when varsity wrestler Aqsa Seda decided to speak up.
What prompted you to request the change in uniforms? Can you describe why you didn't like them before?
Religion-wise, I need to cover myself and I need to be modest about what I wear. And so when I wrestle in tighter clothing, it'd make me feel uncomfortable and it'd make me wonder if I was doing the right thing or not.
To change her uniform, Aqsa went to Coach Sturch, who initiated what would become an 8-month-long process of making the accommodation happen.
When she approached me asking for this change, I knew I was about to do something big. And with UIL, there's a yearly application that has to be filled out to get a uniform exemption. So I reached out to our vendor, Knockout Sportswear, asking, can you help make this happen?
Knockout Sports was able to design a uniform that was acceptable to Aqsa and her parents and approved by UIL. She now wears jogger-style pants with a long-sleeve shirt underneath her jersey.
Now that you have the new uniform, can you tell me how you feel wearing it and how it's impacted your wrestling?
I feel like it's made me a better wrestler. It's definitely made me more confident. Like, I feel like I know I should be wrestling, if that makes sense.
How did you and your family feel when you saw the new uniform? Tell me about the importance modesty like this has to your faith.
I felt heard when I picked up the uniform and wore it for the first time. My family, they were comfortable with it, and it finally felt like they were okay with me wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to bring my faith onto the mat, and I was able to wrestle with a lot more confidence and knowing that everything would be okay.
But it's not just Aqsa who can wear this uniform. Other Muslim girls on the team now have access to this accommodation and can continue wrestling as a result.
I'm just glad other people get to wrestle and they don't have to worry about or go through the same process I went through and almost get wrestling taken away from them.
You went the extra mile to make your wrestlers feel comfortable. And I want you to tell me why comfort is important to athletes.
You feel unsafe when you feel exposed for a girl. It affects your performance. If you're getting pressure from your culture, your religion, your family, that you have to be covered up a certain way and you're having to wear a certain outfit that exposes you, it'll affect your mindset the entire time. So now that she doesn't have to think about the clothing she wears, that's only going to maximize what she can accomplish. And that really should be what every girl should focus on in any sport.
If you wear something you're confident in and you're comfortable in, it impacts your performance a lot more in a positive way. And it just helps you become a better wrestler or an athlete in general.
For KCBY, I'm Anushka Sharma.
Coach Sturch says the uniform adds an extra 2 pounds, affecting weigh-ins. That's all for CSPN. Now, back to the studio.
Thanks, Aaron. And now we honor our Teacher of the Week.
This week, we present Mrs. Alicia Prado with our Teacher of the Week. This is Mrs. Prado's first year at CHS. We thank you for the support you give us. We're grateful for all that you do.
That's all for KCBY this week.
We'll see you next week, CHS. Thanks for tuning in.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their